Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome to another Savory Sunday, where we do what? Break down the Most High's commandments and give our brothers and sisters a better understanding of the commandments than they had yesterday. With hopes and regards that we learn the commandments and we apply the commandments for what reason? To uplift and strengthen our nation of people. I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and it's an honor and a privilege, as always, to come before you to give you another edifying and uplifting lesson, nonetheless. But before we get started, we want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being His Son, who the world calls Christ, and through His strength, sacrifice, and example, we are all able to be here today to be edified in the Spirit. And like I said, welcome to another Savory Sunday. Shalom, shalom, peace and greetings to my brothers and sisters. Welcome, and welcome to you brothers and sisters who will tune in later on. It's an honor all the time that I get a chance to come before you, and all praise to the Most High for that. But today is another Savory Sunday, as we strive to do each and every Sunday, Lord willing, that we have to edify our brothers and sisters. And today's class is called Teach Them to Obey to See Another Day. Teach them to obey to see another day. This is going into teaching your kids how to obey. I did a class a while back called Teach Them Diligently, as if your life depended on it. Today we're going to talk about teaching them to obey so that they can see another day. All right. So before we get started, let's go ahead and get an understanding as to what we're talking about. When we say obey, we mean obedience. But what does it actually mean? Simple. Obey simply means, let me blow it up a little bit so you can see it. Obey, to follow the commands or guidance of, to conform to or comply with. Get some synonyms. To adhere to comply with, to conform to, follow, goose step. Mind, to observe. So these are the things that we are supposed to be teaching our kids. Now, I know a lot of our brothers and sisters will say, hey, that's something simple. We all do these things. But do we really? Do we teach our kids to obey us according to what the world says, or do we teach our kids to obey us according to thus saith the Lord? Those are the questions that we have to ask. And Lord willing, after this class, which won't be too long, you'll have a better understanding as to what you are supposed to be doing as a parent when it comes down to teaching your own kids. So we find out what obey is, or what obedience is. It's basically being able to follow commands and guidance to conform or to comply with. That's what we got to teach our kids, teach the youth, because as we all see in this society, this generation that's coming up, our parents are not teaching. The parents, I'm not saying I'm saying the parents that are now, our generation, we're not teaching the kids to obey. In fact, we putting them in front of telephone, or not even telephone, cell phones, tablets, and TVs in order to teach them how to obey. Nor do we talk to them and to explain the things that we want them to know or understand, but we just yell it out and say, do this and do that, with no guidance, no reason why, no understanding. We just say, do. But we're going to understand today how we're supposed to be dealing with our kids. And the whole purpose of these Savory Sundays is for our people to learn how to keep the commandments so that we can become a sweet smelling Savior to the Most High. When we keep the commandments, we are a sweet smell, a sweet fragrance. But when we disobey and go against His commandment, it's a foul stench, a foul smell, an odor. So we want to be a pleasing scent, a pleasing sacrifice to the Lord. But let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. Make sure you're following along and taking notes, parents. Even those who don't have kids, this is something that you need to learn ahead of time, so that once you become a parent, you know exactly what you are supposed to be doing. All right. So let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, chapter 15, verse 22. And it reads, let me see, is that what I wanted? All right. 1 Samuel 15, 20, 22. All right. And it reads, And Samuel said, Have the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. For rebellion is as sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he have also rejected thee from being king. So this is the prophet Samuel, and he was talking to who? King Saul. King Saul, the first king of Israel. And he was telling him that obedience, I'm going to read it again, as obeying the voice of the Lord, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice. So the reason why we had to sacrifice was because of our sins as a nation of people. Whenever we went off, we had to make sacrifice to the Most High. But he said that obedience was better than sacrifice, and to hearken better than the fat of rams. So we need to understand these things too. It's better for us to obey rather than make sacrifice, because when we go off, we're basically making a sacrifice. A sacrifice has to be made. And when you look in society today, sacrifices are being made on a constant, because our parents failed to teach. We as a generation failed to teach the youth coming up. Look what we have going on. Kids being shot, gunned down at 5, 10, 15, 20 years old, constantly on a daily basis. And there's no remorse. They doing it without any feeling. They are numb to the fact as to what they're doing. They take life just like a snap of a finger or the flip of a switch. This is why we must come back to who we are as Israelites, which means something, versus being African Americans or blacks or Negroes. Those terms don't have any meaning, any purpose. They're bywords, and they have been put on us for our rebelliousness. Therefore, we run with loose terms that have no meaning, and we do things without thinking. So this is the whole purpose behind these Savory Sundays, to teach our people to keep these commandments, to learn about them, and to apply and keep them, and to teach them. But nonetheless, let's go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 17. The book of Proverbs, chapter 29, verse 17. And it reads, Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul. So we got to correct our sons and daughters. We got to get them correction. We can't just turn a blind eye. When we see them doing wrong, we turn our head like we didn't see it. Or when we see them going off, we laugh at it and say it's cute. We cannot do these things. The Lord said, correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. What you see going on in this world today, in our nation of people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, is our people not being corrected, and they going the hell off. They dressing all out of order. They treating each other with disrespect. They killing each other. They have no drive, no passion about anything. This is what's going on when we don't correct our sons and daughters. When we lead them down the path of destruction, this is what happens. And that's why it's important for us to stand back up as a nation of people and get back in line or back in tune with the Most High. So what I want to do now is show you or read to you a quick letter that most of us should have heard about. If not, it'd be your first time. Pay attention to it. This is a letter that a death row inmate writes to his mother. All right. Now this is it says death row inmate writes a letter to his mother. Let me blow it up a little more if possible. All right. It says death row inmate writes a letter to his mother. A death row inmate awaiting execution asks as a last wish a pencil and a paper. After writing for several minutes, the convict called the prison guard and asked that this letter be handed over to his biological mother. As you can see in this picture, this is what we're talking about. All right. The letter said, "Mother, if there were more justice in this world, we would both be executed and not just me. You're as guilty as I am for the life I had." Pay attention to that. He says, "Do you remember when I stole and brought home the bicycle of a boy like me?" He said, "You helped me hide the bicycle from my father so my father would not see it. Do you remember the time I stole money from the neighbor's wallet? You went with me to the mall to spend it. Do you remember when I argued with my father and now he's gone? He just wanted to correct me because I stole the final result of the competition, and for that, I had been expelled." He said, "Mom, I was just a child shortly after I became a troubled teenager and now a petty criminal man." Says, "Mom, I was just a child in need of correction and need approval and not approval, but I forgive you. I just want this letter to reach the greatest number of parents in the world so that they can know what mistakes or what makes all people, good or bad, is education." Says, "Thank you, mother, for giving me life and also helping me to lose it. You're a child offender." All right. So I brought this out to show and explain how important it is for us as parents to teach our children, thus say, according to thus saith the Lord. This was a death row inmate writing a letter to his mother. But notice in the letter, I want to bring out right quick, is that he didn't write it to his father. Why is that? Why didn't he write that to his father? We read that in there that he said his father was just trying to correct him. Let me go find that right quick. He said, "Do you remember when I argued with my father and he's gone?" So apparently the father was trying to correct the boy, but the mother ran him off. Said he just wanted to correct me because I stole the final result of the competition. So the father was trying to correct the boy, as we should. But somehow now he's gone. He's no longer in the picture. He could have been killed, jailed, or he just said the hell with it and got the hell on. But we don't know. But point being, the letter was not written to the father. The father was actually trying to do his job, but somehow he wasn't allowed to do so. Now, this is no knock on the female, but when you read the scriptures, these things are prophesied in there to happen. Let's go to the book of Isaiah right quick. Book of Isaiah, chapter 3. Book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse, let me see. The wrong book. The book of Isaiah, chapter 3, verse 12. And it reads, "As for my people," meaning the Israelites, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them." You see that? That's prophetic right there. "As for my people, children are their oppressors." Who is oppressing our people today? It's not the old folks, it's the young folks that's out there running rampant, gunning each other down, drive-by, shooting each other at the stoplights, shooting each other for stepping on each other's shoes, for looking at them the wrong way. It says, and women rule over them, because over 70% of our households are what? Single-parent household, where the mother is ruling over the household. Why? Because they're not being raised to be women. Why? Because they don't know their roles, just like the man don't know their role today. It says, "O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths." You see that? And the enemies know these things. That's why they set the system up to be the way it is, because you won't find these type of numbers or percentages in any other nation of people. You're not going to see 70% of the so-called Asian community households being destroyed, being single parent. You're not going to see that in the so-called white man neighborhood or community or a nation. The East Indian, the Arab, you're not going to see that. The African, you're not going to see that. But only in the nation of Israel where you see over 70% of our households are broken, where the mother is ruling over the household. The man is at work 8 days a week trying to pay child support. Meanwhile, the woman is raising the child out of order, trying to be the mother and the father. That's out of order. That's not a just balance. Now, you might say, well, he didn't want to be there. He couldn't cut the mustard. It still takes two. It's a just balance. So sometimes we got to suck those things up just to make sure we raising the child in sincerity and in love and in peace, according to the commandments. Well, he didn't want to do this or she didn't want to do that. Well, that's why the Lord tells you prove a friend before you be hasty to credit them, before you try to make them your girlfriend when there's no girlfriend or boyfriend in the Bible. Before you lay down with that person, you need to know exactly who you're dealing with. And most of our people went through that stage, and our nation of people are suffering before that or because of that, you know. But let's go back to this letter. It says, death row inmate writes a letter to his mother. Now, in this letter, he wrote to her saying she should be right there by him. Why? Because you're as guilty as I am in this life that I had. He said, do you remember when I stole and brought home a bike? You helped me hide the bike from my father so he didn't see it. So she was right along with his wickedness. Rather than correct him, teaching him how to obey, she was right along with his wickedness, promoting it rather than disciplining. Rather than putting that belt or that rod of correction to his backside, she was helping him to escape it, thinking that she was doing the best thing that she could, but she actually ended up doing the worst thing that she could by promoting it, trying to hide it. You see that? And throughout the picture, or throughout the letter, you see that happened constantly. I stole money from the neighbor's wallet. You went to the mall and helped me spend it. That's wicked as hell. Do you remember when I argued with my father? Now he's gone. He just wanted to correct me. He said, Mom, I was just a child. Shortly after, I became a troubled teenager and a petty criminal. And he looking back on his life right before he get put to death, and he wondering, like, why nobody told me these things? Why didn't nobody discipline me? Why didn't they teach me to be obedient? Why didn't they teach me the truth? You know, these are the things that we have to consider on a day-to-day basis. Even if you don't have children, the Lord tells us to be a father to the fatherless. Understand that. We have to teach our brothers and sisters the right way. Stop letting the TV raise them. Stop putting the damn phone in front of them to let them babysit them on a daily basis. You have to teach your children. Matter of fact, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 18. Because the Lord tells us to teach the kids on a daily basis. Not when we feel like it, not when we feeling spiritual. No, we're supposed to do it on a day-to-day basis. Stop trying to be the friend of the child. Be a parent. They don't know anything. They didn't ask to come here. But now that you're here, you're supposed to be doing your job. But that's the point. A lot of us don't know our jobs or our roles. We just want to follow what the TV says. All right, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 11, verse 18, and it reads, therefore shall ye lay up these words in your heart and in your soul, and bind them for a sign upon your hand, that they may be as frontlet between your eyes. And ye shall teach them your children, speaking of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, when thou liest down, and when thou risest up. You see that? That means you're supposed to be speaking about the word of the Most High on a day-to-day basis. When they wake up in the morning, they're supposed to be learning about the commandments. When they walking around the house, when y'all going out into the public, walking at the park, Supposed to be learning and teaching them and showing them examples according to the scriptures, to the commandments. And before they lay down at night, supposed to be constantly teaching them. Why? So that they get the understanding. It don't matter if they like it or not. The Lord didn't say teach your kids only if they like it. Teach your kids when you feel like it. He didn't say that. He said teach them day in and day out. When they rise up, when you walk them out of the way, when you sitting in the house, and before you go to bed, teach them. Because if you don't, the system will, as we read in this letter. The mom didn't teach him. The father was trying to, but she wouldn't let him. Therefore, he ended up on what? Death row, locked up, behind bars. Because there was not a just balance in the household. It was a discrepancy between the household. It was a dysfunctional household. These are the things that we got to strive to overcome. But the Lord telling us what? Teach on a day-to-day basis. From there, let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Book of Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. We're going to teach you how to teach your kids how to obey. You know? I know a lot of you got your nose in the air right now. Can't nobody tell me how to do nothing. You ain't raised my kids. You ain't here with them. I'm giving you the message from thus saith the Lord. So, let's go to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 12. And it reads, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. This is what we have to teach our kids. It ain't just go out there and pick up a damn basketball, a football, or a soccer ball, or a baseball. Stop teaching them just about sports. You know, teach them to honor you. You telling them how to respect the teacher and the coach, but do you teach them how to honor you? How do they honor you? Let's get there. Let's go to the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. We're going to read that to 8. Bear with me. Let me get there. A new Bible. I don't want to rip the pages in it. Where we at? Where we at? All right. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 1. It says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. So the Lord is saying what? Children, this is what you need to instruct your children on a day-to-day basis. You have to obey your parents in the Lord. What does that mean? In his commandments, in righteousness. Not you telling them to go steal a pack of cigarettes from Lil John down the street. Hey, go get his money to the man down there so he can run the numbers for me. Hey, go down there, tell the police that so-and-so doing that so you can get their parking spot or whatever the case. Doing it to obey the parents in the Lord. That is right. It says, honor thy father and thy mother, which is the first commandment with promise. What's the promise? Let's read. That it may be well with thee. When you obey your parents in the Lord, it'll be well with you. What else? And thou mayest live long on the earth. So when you follow the commandments of your parents, which are the commandments of the Lord, you're going to have a long life to live. When you go contrary to that, guess what's going to happen? Your life going to be chopped down, cut off. That's what's happening to our people. We are not being taught the commandments. We are being taught that the commandments are done away with. Therefore, our people are dying younger and younger. All right? So let's go to the book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 2. Colossians chapter 3, verse 20. Excuse me. Colossians chapter 3, verse 20, and it reads, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord. Now, we know when they say all things, it's talking about in righteousness. You know, when they say sit down and eat this pork chop with the beans and rice, that don't mean that's righteous. Because we know by reading Leviticus chapter 11 and 7 through 9 that eating swine is abominations. It's an abominable food. So you might just have to skip that pork chop and just eat them beans and rice. Why? Because because the Lord has told you that we cannot eat the abominable foods. So it says, children, obey your parents in all things, for this is well-pleasing unto the Lord. That's a thing that's well-pleasing when kids obey. But when you don't teach them who they are and what they are supposed to be doing, you can expect or you can guarantee chaos to come in your household. Understand that. If they don't respect you, they won't respect anybody outside of your household. So keep that in mind as well. From there, let's go to the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 3. The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 3. Bear with me. Let me get the Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 3. And it reads, ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbath. I am the Lord your God. So this is also telling that child, hey, not only do you respect your parents, your mother and your father, but you respect and honor and fear the parents of your friends and other children. You respect the parents, you respect the elders. Understand that. From there, let's go to Leviticus 19:32, and it reads, thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man. So the hoary head, that's the gray-haired or white-haired man, the elder. The Lord is saying, thou shalt rise up before the hoary head and honor the face of the old man. So parents, you need to be teaching your kids when an elderly person or an older person come into the room or to the building, or when you meet running up or walking up on them outside, you need to raise up and honor that person, salute them, hug them, handshake, whatever the case may be. You have to honor them. That's a commandment, thus saith the Lord. But from there, let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 10. Let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 7, verse 10. And it reads, for Moses said, honor thy father and thy mother, and whosoever curseth father or mother, let him die the death. Let him die the death. What is he talking about? What was written that Moses spoke about? When if a kid cursed his mother or father, he would be put to death. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 21, verse 18. And this is how you know that the Bible goes hand in hand. You need the old with the new. The old is a connects and reflects the new, and the new reflects the old. They go hand in hand. They speaking the same thing all throughout the scriptures. So you can't have one without the other. All right, let's go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 18. And it reads, if a man have a stubborn or rebellious son, which will not obey the voice of his father or the voice of his mother, and that when they have chastened him, will not hearken unto them, then shall his father and his mother lay hold on him and bring him out unto the elders of his city and unto the gate of his place. And they shall say unto the elders of his city, this our son is stubborn and rebellious. He will not obey our voice. He is a glutton and a drunkard. And all the men of his city shall stone him with stones that he die. So shalt thou put away evil from among you, and all Israel shall hear and fear. If that was going on today, we'll have a totally different generation going on right now, if these things were being followed. Now, a lot of you would say, well, we in the New Testament. What does that even mean? Think about that. Now, I could possibly understand if you said new covenant, but we're not in a new covenant. We're not in a New Testament. Everything in the Bible goes hand in hand. Everything that was going on then is still going on now. Except sacrifice. Killing animals and offering it up on the altar to the Most High. Those are the only things that's not happening. still keeping the feast days, still supposed to be wearing the fringes, still are supposed to be eating righteous food, not abominable foods. You know, man is not supposed to be laying down with another man, just like a woman ain't supposed to be laying down with another woman. Ain't nothing changed. It's just that we are in a land of our captivity and we are subject to the rules that they put in place. But even in our land of our captivity, we are supposed to be going by, thus saith the Lord. It only makes sense. You know, think about that. So we reading in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, that a rebellious, stubborn child who will not listen will be put to death. You see that? But our children are not being taught anything today, but to do what? Play sports. They don't know how to read. They don't know how to deal with money. They don't have any drive, any passion about anything, but they're quick to get angry, emotional about things. That's about it. We're not teaching them anything. It's high time we wake the hell up, Israel, and come back home, be thinking ourselves and starting to teach them something that matters, besides trying to find a way to fit into this wicked world that we live in. You know? From there, let's go to Exodus chapter 21. Exodus chapter 21, verse 15. Exodus chapter 21, verse 15. And it reads, and he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. So if you're putting hands on your parents, you're supposed to be put to death. You see that? And he that stealeth a man, and that's not what I needed. That's all I wanted on that. And he that smiteth his father or his mother shall surely be put to death. From there, let's go to 1 John 3 and 22. Because these are the things that we must learn, perform, teach, apply, all these things wrapped in one in order to please the Most High. Let's go to 1 John chapter 3, verse 22, and then I'm going to play this quick video. If I can get to it. 1 John 3 and 22. All right, finally made it. And it reads, and whatsoever we ask, we receive of him because we keep his commandments and do those things that are pleasing in his sight. So if we want our children to turn out to be great children, we have to keep the commandments. We have to learn. We have to teach. We have to be that example when applying the commandments on a day-to-day basis. How? By teaching our kids every day about who they are, what they're supposed to be doing, so that they can live a longer life. And by doing so, we are doing the things that are pleasing to the Most High. And when we do the things that are pleasing, we will have the things that we need. We have whatever we ask for when we pray. Because we read in John 9 and 31 that he don't hear the prayers of sinners. So if we don't keep the commandments, we are in sin. When we keep his commandments, just as something as simple as teaching our kids every day about keeping these commandments, then we do things that are pleasing to the Most High. Therefore, when we ask him for anything, he's willing to give it to us. The same way you would with your child. Whenever they do whatever you tell them to do, hey, you don't hesitate to give them the things that they need or want. But this is why we do these classes. So I'm not going to hold you up. I'm going to play this quick video, and this is something that you can show to your kids and explain to them why they shouldn't disobey you or try to be sneaky or crafty in the things that they do. All right? Pay attention. Pay attention.
Girl, I done forgot this cornbread in the oven. I went and laid down, watched the movie, and before I knew it, it was burnt.
Oh, wow. So I take it as that movie went well.
You could say that.
So what's going on with this new guy you've been talking about?
Really nothing much to speak upon. I mean, it ended so fast.
Wow.
Yes, honey. He was too clingy for me. He was already talking about.
Hey, Mom, did you get that piece of mail in the mailbox for that summer camp thing?
No, not yet. But have you cleaned your room yet?
Not yet, Mama.
So what you worried about a letter for the summer camp? You need to worry about what's going on here. It's only a few months before you get to that, baby.
How is school going?
Yeah. How is school going? Have you got your progress report yet?
I got my progress report back last week.
Last week? Why haven't I seen it?
I forgot.
You forgot.
You see, this is one of the things that our people want to teach discipline on. Just school. We send them to these schools, to these public schools or private schools on a day-to-day basis to let them be edified or educated by who? Our enemies, for one, but they are there for 8 hours a day. And that's the only type of structure that we give them or hold them to. Are you doing the things that's required for you going to this school? Are you doing your homework? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Are we holding ourselves accountable by teaching them the things that the Lord wants us to teach them? No. But we teach them and oppress them to help the oppressor indoctrinate them. But that's neither here nor there. Just a quick point for you people, my brothers and sisters, to learn from. But I'm gonna keep playing the video.
Really? I need to see that. Girl, she know darn well she ain't forgot. I bet you $10 get some bad grades on there. You want to bet?
No, I am siding with you on this one. I was always happy to show my parents my good grades.
Girl, I knew it. Trina, what's going on with these grades?
The teachers just be teaching the lessons too fast.
Too fast? Or you not paying attention? So you failing in 4 classes? Really? I thought you was going to tutoring. What happened to that?
I am going.
I need to see the paper showing that you've been going. Until then, that party Saturday, no ma'am, you cannot go.
Mom, but you already said I could go.
That's before I seen these grades. Now that party on Saturday, that's a privilege. But passing these grades, that's a requirement.
But Mom.
Trina, go clean your room. Yeah, and I don't care. She's gonna bringing these failing grades in my house.
I do not blame you for not letting her go. I had to tell Trayton about his grades as well.
It's sad. These kids, they're gonna have to learn the hard way.
Exactly.
Hey, baby.
Hey, Mama.
Oh, I was watching my last bit of Senseless.
Dang, I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
We supposed to watch this together.
I know, but you was taking so long in the bathroom. You know I don't like staying up late.
Yeah, I know. You want to watch something else?
No. You can watch something. I'm ready to go to bed. I'm tired.
You must have took your allergy pills.
So, my allergies be messing up this time in the springtime. You already know.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you want to watch this movie that came out last week on Fame? I think it's called Cries in the Dark.
Well, we can watch that tomorrow, honey. I'm tired. I'm really ready to go to bed.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. My eyes are already heavy, and we're going to Aunt Shannon's tomorrow for dinner.
Okay, Mama. Oh, I love her cooking.
Mm-hmm.
But it won't be long before I go to bed myself. I'm kind of tired.
Okay. Well, when you do, make sure you turn off this TV and all these lights, Trina.
Okay, Mom. Good night. Hey, Hannah. Yes, she's going to bed as we speak. Yes, I'm already dressed. I'm on my way now. Okay, I'll see you when I get there.
Hold on.
Where's Trina? Trina,
she's in her room sleep. Quiet down. Calm down.
No, she's not in here. I knew it.
Where is she then?
She's at that party that you told her she couldn't go to.
Oh my God. I told her she could not go there. The last time I seen her, she here said she was going to bed. Oh, that girl is on punishment when she gets back here.
Cameron, she not coming home.
What?
She's not coming home. Cameron, she not coming home.
What do you mean, Jaleesa?
It's all over the news. My neighbor's son went to that party.
Okay, and what happened?
He saw Trina there. 2 guys got into an argument over some girl, and somebody started shooting.
Okay, so what does that have to do with Trina?
Trina was shot.
So what are you saying, Jaleesa?
He said he saw her.
Well, let's go to the hospital and check on her. We gotta go.
Cameron.
We gotta go.
Oh, Cameron. They said they put a sheet over her. She gone.
What? No.
She gone.
No. I got that letter in the mail today.
What letter?
Letter approving her to go to the graphic design school. And she was waiting on. My baby is gone. I just want her to listen to me. That's all I wanted her to do was listen to me. Oh. She's gone.
The moral of the story is, if you have to sneak and do something, it's not worth it. Sometimes we may not see when we are being protected.
So as she was saying, and so it's important for our parents to teach the kids exactly what they should and shouldn't be doing. And it's important for you to let them know that the parent knows best, because you've been out there, you've been in this world, you've seen the ups and downs, you've seen the negative, the positives, and they should understand that you want the best for them. But if you don't open your mouth and you don't speak and you don't correct them, you don't teach them the things that they need to know, they're going to go out there and make mistakes that could take their lives and end up bringing grief to you as a parent. So this message was brought to our brothers and sisters to help them understand their roles, how to teach their kids to obey themselves or obey the parent and the Most High at the same time. With hopes and regards that you teach and uplift and raise our nation of people up, rather than continuing to follow in the path of destruction that this world has set up for them. You know, and I pray and I hope you brothers and sisters understand what was going on. I'm going to get one more scripture, Proverbs chapter 7, verse 2. I'm going to start at verse 1 before we close out. This is Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1. It says, "My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye." So keep the words, keep the commandments with thee at all times, and live. Keep these commandments as the apple of your eye. That's something special to you. It's an honor for you to be an Israelite. It's an honor for you to be able to keep these commandments. It's an honor to be able to teach them, to be able to apply them. It's an honor. It's a privilege. It's your right. So don't take it for granted. Take it seriously. Teach your kids. Regardless what's going on in this world, teach your kids. And when you see them going off, correct them. Don't laugh at it. Don't try to sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen. Because as you've seen in the letter at the beginning of the class, they'll look back and they'll put their blame on you because you didn't teach them the things that you knew or the things that they were supposed to know. So do what's necessary. Follow the commandments by teaching your kids day in and day out. When they rise up, when you're walking around the house, when y'all out and about, when you come back home, before they go to bed, speak about the Lord, about his word. Thus saith the Lord. And I'm your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And as always, it's been an honor and a privilege to be able to come before you to give you another edifying lesson. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahushua being his son. And I hope this message hit home. I hope you take it seriously and apply it in your own household. But on that note, I say shalom, shalom, peace and greetings. Much love and respect to you all. And on that note, I'll holler at you later on. Shalom.